Hey everyone, it's Jason Donnelly, aka DJ Puzzle, reporting for my website iPadLoops.com, and I'm super stoked about today's episode. Why? Well, because I get to talk about two of my favorite things, Korg Gadget and Propellerheads Recycle files. Why? Well, because Korg just announced a new gadget called Stockholm, and Stockholm is a Rex player based on the Dr. Octo Rex player found in Propellerheads Reason. So this, to give you a little history, this is Recycle, okay? See the light's kind of reflecting, sorry. Recycle, and originally this was by Steinberg, okay? So Steinberg put out Recycle in 1997. This is my box from 1997, from when I worked at a little mom and pop music store in Chicago called Zounds. Now Zounds is a huge internet giant right now. There's no more store, they shut it down. But my buddy's the CEO there. And I worked at Zounds as a salesman for about a year and a half, 2 years. And that basically that was the transition that changed my life from being a music hobbyist to the music professional that I am today. And it all led up to this in 2002, which is the very first sample pack that sample disc that I produced. My DJ Puzzle Scratch Tactics for Sonic Foundry. As you can see there, look at the old Sonic Foundry logo. 2002. So since then I've produced hundreds of loop packs for several different large companies like Sony when they owned Acid, and Acoustica Mixcraft, and PreSonus Studio One. In fact, the stuff for PreSonus was Rex files. So let's talk a little bit about Recycle first, and then I'm going to show you what you can do with Stockholm. We're going to start by importing some files that I'm giving you for free, some Rex files from my loop company, SoundtrackLoops.com. And these are going to be Rexed and ready to go. I'm going to curate a huge pack for you guys, so I can always add and update this pack in the future. If there is an instrument that you want in this pack or some kind of sound, leave a comment below, and if I have that available, which I might, I have a huge catalog of sounds, I'll add those Rex files to the pack, and I'll update a comment in the link with, I'll update a comment in the description, or in your comment, I'll put a new link in to let you know that the pack was updated. So let's begin. Alright, so here is my original box of Recycle from back in the day when it was owned by Steinberg in 1997. Recycle was a revolutionary product back then. Just like Acid Pro, it did something totally unique and cool involving time stretching and sample arranging. What it does is it slices up a wave loop into individual samples by detecting the transients and automatically dropping in slice points. You can also add slice points manually as well. It used this process to time stretch, but it also maps the slices out across the keyboard so that you can rearrange them with the additional MIDI file that it creates based on the slices. Many samplers support this format so that slices will come in pre-mapped across the keyboard for you to play and perform with live as well. Now here you can see the original program back in 97. This is a screenshot from the original program, and it looks a bit different now, but this will give you a general idea of how the slices are applied to the waveform, to the loop. And here you can see the piano roll with an imported MIDI file that's generated by Recycle. Each MIDI note represents a slice or a sample within that loop, and it is spanning across the keyboard. And now you can see, based on this, how easy it is to rearrange those slices or those MIDI notes to remix the loop. And here is modern day Recycle. Simply hit the slice button, enter the number of bars, and it automatically detects your tempo. Now move the sensitivity fader up, and boom, your loop has been sliced. So as you can see, Recycle is an audio utility. That's pretty much all it is. In order to take full advantage of Rex files, you have to import them into another program or sampler, which brings us to the new Korg gadget called Stockholm. So after you've gone through and properly recycled your file, save it down, and if you want, you can export the MIDI file, but you don't have to, because the nice thing about Stockholm is it automatically does it for you. I'll show you how to do that in the app itself, okay? Now, please note, you will need Propellerheads Recycle or Propellerheads Reason to convert WAV files to Rex so that you can use them in Stockholm. And as far as I know, there is nothing available on iOS currently, so you will have to do this on a desktop. And here is Stockholm, Octo sample loop player based on the Propellerheads Reason Dr. Octo Rex player. Now, Stockholm comes with a nice assortment of presets, but you're probably going to feel limited at some point, and you might think that you will have to buy some. You can do that, of course, and I'm sure they'll have some available for you to purchase somehow through the app. But you might also want to just go ahead and grab this giant free pack of loops that I'm uploading for you. There will be a link in the video description below. I'm giving you a huge assortment of free Rex files from my company, Soundtrack Loops. In order to download them, you'll have to have your Wi-Fi active and use Dropbox. I'm including a Dropbox link to the free pack. It's going to be big, but the nice thing about Rex files is they use some kind of compression, so they won't be as big as full WAV files. It's always been this way. Rex files were always smaller. I don't know exactly why. It's some type of audio compression that they use. So here we have the file that I recycled in the previous scene. It takes a minute to download it. What I recommend you do is download my free loops and put them in a folder on your Dropbox, because then you can easily access them through the Stockholm app. So here is that beat that I recycled. Now you can see where I'm tapping the slices. I'm triggering each slice. If you go to the performance screen, you can play those slices on a keyboard. Okay, on a keyboard. There's a synth section. Now, the synth section is kind of a global synth that, once set, will apply to all of the 8 Rex slots that you have in the project. So if you mess with the amplitude envelope, which you might want to do for certain sounds, so you can get them to play all the way out. For example, when you tap a key, you might want that slice to play all the way out. I simply tweaked the sustain and decay to get the samples to ring out after I tap them. Go back to Rex and hit the copy loop to track if you'd like to do that cool MIDI thing that I showed you earlier. And now you can see all the slices on the piano roll. And it's playing faster as well, so it's time stretching. We'll slow it back down. Go back in and simply rearrange and remove and do whatever we want here to create our own beat using those slices. There you have a totally different beat. So did you ever get a loop and you just wanted to change it up just a little bit because it just wasn't right? This is a great way to do it, but it has to be in Rex format. Let's head back over to the synth page in Stockholm. I feel like I didn't spend enough time on that, and wanted to just show you a few more things and hone in on a few things. You've got over here a filter, okay? Again, it's global, so it will apply to all 8 of the Rex slots that you have in this project. Over here, you've got an LFO to modulate the filter. You have all the different waveforms for that LFO, so you can change the way it modulates the filter. You can also modulate the oscillator. Here we are modulating the filter. And you can modulate the panning, which is below filter. But I'm still in filter, though. I just wanted to mention the panning as well. So you can modulate the os, the filter, or the pan there using that LFO. Now here you've got a filter envelope for sculpting the filter, the way that that filter behaves. Make sure you have that amount slider up high enough to apply the filter envelope to the sound. We can modulate the pitch oscillator with some cool pitching effects. And you've got parameters for the mod wheel below the pitch os here. Now, if you had a external controller with a mod wheel or some kind of controller app, you could use the mod wheel settings here as well. Section for modulating the velocity, which is the volume that each slice is being triggered. There's a global transpose. So once you have the pitch oscillation doing what you like, you can also transpose the whole thing globally. You got different filter types here: high pass, band pass, notch, the usual suspects. Okay, so if you're not familiar with synthesizers, don't worry. I mean, this is pretty self-explanatory. It's pretty basic stuff. You'll get the gist of it. Just play around, experiment, okay? So let's head over to performance again. Now here you can trigger the slices with this little keyboard, okay? You can play them in live, record from there. You can use this arpeggiator and arpeggiate the slices. And that kind of generates a new rhythm in itself. That's another way to remix the groove or the sounds in the loop. That's pretty simple. Now the pads, we're triggering slices, but the arpeggiator is still on. So let's go back and turn that off. That's run there. That run button turns it on or off. We'll go back to pads, and now we can trigger each slice. Very fun and easy and really cool that you can see the waveforms on there. Let's head back to the Rex screen. And what did I want to show you here? There were some features here that I wanted to show you. So you have these other envelopes here, a pitch envelope. It can be applied to the whole loop, okay? Panning. All right, level. Adjust all the volumes here. Decay. Now, one thing you might notice, you must please note this because it might drive you crazy later. You might figure something out. Why didn't this work, right? Why am I not hearing that decay? Well, it's because we messed with the amplitude envelope. So in order for that decay to be more extreme and noticeable, you'll have to have room for it to do its thing. And if you don't allow that room under the amplitude envelope settings, you'll get less of a result here. Same thing goes with the filter. This is great. Reverse. Wow, look at that. You can turn the reverse on or off on each slice. How fun. How fun. And of course, this is that frequency. This is like a filter here. And here we have alt groups. There are 4 of those to alternate. And then preview. Now preview lets you simply just play the sounds from here. Let's hop on over to the performance page once more. Now I've got it set to trigger the 8 different loops versus triggering individual slices from one loop. And as you can see here in the pads, it shows you, there's a waveform there showing you those are the different loops, right? Pretty cool. There is a quantization to how these will be triggered, and it's right up here. So you can choose by bar, beat, or 16th note, okay? You'll notice there are different ways to trigger them so that they will be on beat. Now, triggering to the next 16th note can sometimes sound a little sloppy. So I think beat is usually the best feature for me. That's my own personal preference. So when you're sequencing these, you can sequence these different beats. And I'll show you how to do that. I'm going to go ahead and see, here's 16th notes, right? It just, to me, it's harder to get those on beat. So, I mean, you can quantize it, obviously, in the sequence, but it just kind of throws me off. So I like to use beat. I like to quantize them to the next beat. And that can be really helpful when trying to remix by using all 8 loops. And I'll show you that real quick. So see, I can kind of play sloppily here. And it just sounds good. Right? It sounds on beat. Now, I've got this cool little loop sequence going, right? Now you can mess with that by going into each different loop and, you know, screwing around with these little envelopes here. Really just experiment with it. It's I mean, hours of fun. You know, another app that just, it's like, I'm not going to do anything for the rest of the week. I think I'm just going to play around with Stockholm. So triggering these loops, that in itself is wicked cool. And then having the ability to trigger individual slices for each is also cool. So here you have that option.
And they sound a lot different now than what they originally did sound like. And a lot of that has to do with what you do here in the synth, but also those little individual envelopes for each. And you've got 8 slots there. I mean, just crazy. You can load all kinds of stuff in there. You don't have to just use drums. It works really well with drums, but you don't just limit yourself. Bring all kinds of craziness in there. Oh, and let me see something. So, yeah, I mean, just hours of fun just tweaking these freaking little envelope dealies down here. Let's go in and see what else we have. Okay, so that's a program. So there's a program that includes all 8, right? That's all 8 slots filled. But then you can go and load individual loops into each of the 8 slots. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to load a few of these free ones that I provided. Actually, here's what I want to show you. Grab something like a piano or an arpeggiated synth, right? And use the decay parameter, the decay envelope. And okay, so this is in the free pack. You can download this. I'm giving this away for free, and I'm going to keep adding to that pack. I want you to comment on this video and tell me what sounds you're looking for. If I have them in my library, I will add them to the pack. I just want to I want this to be like a user curated pack. I just want to keep building it up and up until it hits about, I don't know, some kind of crazy amount that might be irritating to download, maybe like a gig or something. Now, real quick, how does Stockholm compare to Abu Dhabi? Well, Abu Dhabi is very similar, except it works with WAV files. You also have this really cool effect screen with an XY pad, but you're limited to only 1 wave loop per instance, whereas with Stockholm, you can load 8 loops in 1 instance. You also don't get that cool synth page for further manipulation. So here you've got a Rex synth and performance page, as you can see above. Abu Dhabi is sort of a stripped down version of Stockholm in a way. And with Abu Dhabi, you can use WAV files. Alright, so that's pretty much it in a nutshell. I hope that helps you guys out. Thanks again for watching. If you like my channel, please subscribe, thumbs up, share the videos, buy from my affiliate links, or buy something from my loop company, Soundtrack Loops. All those links are down in the description. By clicking on those, you help support me in some way, shape, or form, and that helps keep me going. So thanks again for watching, and I'll leave you with this.